What is going on YouTube? My name is Andy from Little RV Big Life, and today I want to talk to you about installing a new turbo on your 6-liter Powerstroke diesel engine. Alright, so the first thing that we will be doing is removing both negative posts from the batteries, because we will actually be moving this turbo up from this section here right past the alternator. So you can ground out right there and short everything and have a bad day. What we'll be doing next is taking off the intake tube and the Cac pipes. Back here on the back of the intake tube, it's going to be an 8mm. And normally the Cac pipes are an 11mm, but if you're like me and you have different style tubes, you may also have a 10mm. Set that off to the side. Go ahead and get this pulled off. Then we're gonna disconnect our intake temp sensors. And if you have a stock air box here, there's gonna be back on the back where you can disconnect your filter gauge. Alright, we'll get that up out of there. And now that I have that out, I'm going to take off the degas bottle here so we can get this harness out of the way. It's going to be a couple 8mm bolts. Double spin out of here. Goes up there. Just gonna lean this forward so we can sneak this harness through that space. And then get it up there. Now, most of my clips are broken, but you're gonna have to remove these clips to get it up there. And you can stick a screwdriver in here. Really opens everything up. So then we can get here to the turbo. What we'll do next is we're going to disconnect the Vgt solenoid. Be very careful about these. As you can see, I have two white wires here. Normally it's a blue and a black wire, and I had to replace this because I actually broke the clips on this the first time taking it out. All right, next thing that I'm going to do is get a 10mm ratcheting wrench. We're going to get this oil feed line off. Once you get those done, we're going to follow this line down, and you can get another 10mm down here, which holds the bottom of that on. Once you get that out, pull the bolt out with it. Then you should be able to just wiggle a little bit and pull up on that oil feed line, and it'll pop right out. Pull that out of there, set it off to the side. And next, we're going to go after the downpipe. With a deep well socket and 11mm bolt, go ahead and get in there. And pop that loose. You may have to hold the back side of this because that bolt is a little T-fitting and it fits into the other side of the clamp there. if you get it off there, it'll just sit there and spin. So you may have to hold your hand around the backside of the turbo and hold it. Luckily, we did not have to do that. Sometimes you have to get a big screwdriver, get back underneath that clamp, and pop it loose. Now you can just set it here on the downpipe, but there's a chance that it could go back down it, and you'll have a heck of a time coming get it back off. So normally flip it over and pull it out. Here's what I was talking about, that T-style bolt. It fits in there like that, so sometimes you have to hold the back of it. Now we're going to go for the up pipe. Typically you'll have to reach around back here with a ratchet and a 3-inch extension in your 11mm, but when I replaced it last time, I flipped it around so I can access it through here. So we've got our 11mm with an extension, so I can get back there and reach it. Take that loose just like you have the downpipe. Again, you may need to hold the back side of it, but once you get that bolt loose off of there, you can pop everything loose. Again, you might need pry bar to get it. All right, so the next thing we are going to tackle is we are going to take out the 3 bolts from the turbo that mount it to the pedestal. Here's one of them. As you can see, this is loose, so that's obviously a problem. The next one's going to be back by the ficum, back down in here. The third one is back under the downpipe. Use a 6-inch extension and a short 10mm. You'll be able to get to that one. So we'll get on top of the engine here, break this first one loose. Now it may be smart to use some type of anti-corrosive like Croil or WD-40 or anything like that to help lubricate these and help break them free. All right, got the one out of there. You can get to this one with an extension and a universal joint. I just find it easier to get to it with a gear wrench style wrench, or ratcheting wrench. All right, last we are going to get in here with a short extension and a short 10mm socket. You'll have to go up over top of the downpipe here. And this one's going to be the hard one. You kind of have to fish around for it a little bit. All right, once you've got all that loose, get your bolt out of there. Once we've got all those bolts loose, you should be able to get the turbo up and out of here. I like to use the V-clamp. I like to leave the V-clamp on the turbo itself. It's a lot easier to get in and out that way. Now, you'll just have to wiggle it up a little bit to get out of the drain pipe and get it past that. This is where the dangerous part is. If you have not disconnected your negative feed, do it now, because you're coming right past the alternator here. And we'll just sneak this guy right on out of here. And that is how you get the turbo out of a 6-liter powerstroke diesel engine. All right, next thing we will do is get the oil drain out of here. All you're gonna have to do for that, grab a hold of it. You'll wiggle it back and forth a little bit and pop it out. There's 2 O-rings on the end of here. We will replace those. Make sure you inspect down here If you have any type of water leak or anything like that, it'll be apparent down in this area. If you have an EGR delete like I do, here's a J loop for it, and I look like I do have a little bit of wetness down here. I'm going to investigate that, and then we're going to go ahead and get this turbo back in. So now we are going to go ahead and get everything put back together. First, we're going to start off with our drain line. We do have some new Viton O-rings on here. There's an entire kit that comes with bolts and O-rings to get everything put back together in this turbo. I go ahead and make sure that I put a little bit of O-ring lube on each one of these O-rings so they don't roll or smash while I'm putting it in there. So all you're going to do is just set this down in here and go into your high pressure oil pump. Just kind of wiggle it in there. Get it to seat all the way down in there, like that. Then we'll get our turbo in here. Just going to put this back in there. Now, to get everything back in, it is exactly the reverse of how we took it out. So I will kind of bust through this pretty quickly. So what we're going to be looking for is where those bolt holes are. There's a couple notches on the turbo, and you can see that they line up right in there. If you have this one and the other front one aligned, then you know that those bolt holes will line up correctly. Next, what we're going to do is put those bolts in loosely, and we have our new bolts from our kit that are already pre-oiled. I'm just going to go ahead and start those by hand so that we can get the up pipe and the down pipe in. Then we're going to go ahead and get our third bolt in the back. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our up pipe on. And remember, we left that clamp on there so it would be a lot easier to get in place. So once we have the up pipe and the down pipe clamps in, you'll take your 11mm and get them snugged back down. And now that we have those clamps tightened down, we'll get our 3 turbo bolts tightened down. All right, next we are going to put our oil feed in there. Remember, some petroleum jelly around the O-ring there. Gonna push it down in. May have to wiggle it just a little bit. And then underneath our fitting on top of the turbo, you have your brand new paper gasket. And get your 2 screws. These have 10mm tops to them. The next thing that you're going to need to do is attach your Vgt solenoid. And then clip it into this bracket down here so you don't get any chafing of the wires. So the next thing that we will do is get our Cac pipes installed. I always make sure that I spray some brake clean inside and on the outside of the pipes so everything sticks. And we will get those put together right now. Now that we have those in place, we'll go ahead and get our wiring harness back in here and our degas bottle back in its spot. Now make sure that you plug in all of the sensors that you have unhooked. and any coolant lines you may have disconnected. Then go ahead and hook back up your negative terminations on your batteries and you should be finished. All right, I know it's been a little bit more of an advanced video for you today, but if you were curious on how to get your turbo out and put back in, you use the same process if you are upgrading turbos or just replacing with a stock turbo. Anyways, it was a couple hours and a few basic hand tools. Other than that, it's a pretty easy job. For now, my name's Andy, and I'll see you in the next video.